Good evening and welcome to the Spring 2021 Recovery of Education Update. This is our virtual community conversation, one of our series of a way to engage with our families, our staff, and our students to let them know our plans for returning to instruction for the remainder of the year. I'm excited to be here with you. My name is Derek Turner and I'll be the facilitator of this conversation and being joined by some of my amazing colleagues as we walk you through what's ahead for our students for the remainder of the school year. So first, let's give a framework. When are students coming back to buildings? When are they going to see their teachers? That's what we want to start with. So starting March 1st, we're going to start bringing some of our students back to in-person experiences with our instructors and with our staff. And so I want to start off by turning over to Janet Wilson to tell me a little bit about who's coming back on March 1st and what their experience is going to be.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Good evening, everyone. My name is Janet Wilson. I'm the Chief of Teaching. We are bringing back our some of our students March 1. This will be a smaller rotation into the building. We're bringing back specific special education programs, and those students will be returning to us on a weekly schedule, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, with Wednesday being a virtual day. I'm going to ask Mr. Lowndes if he'd like to elaborate on the first groups coming in for special education. And then in addition to that, we also have some career and technical programs coming back at Thomas Edison High School and also at several of our other high schools, Seneca Valley, Gaithersburg, Damascus, and Paint Branch. And so I'll ask Mr. Lowndes if he'd like to elaborate on March 1, followed by Mr. Murphy on the CTE component. Mr. Lowndes?
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. My name is Kevin Lowndes, Associate Superintendent for Special Education. And the programs we have coming back March 1 are our Autism K-12, our Extensions program, our School Community-Based programs, and our special schools. We've done a lot of preparation to make sure that we're ready, and we're excited to have these students come back on March 1. And we're ready to go and excited to bring the students back. But we've also spent a lot of time enhancing the learning that will take place for the parents that choose to keep their students at home. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Scott to talk a little bit about the CTE programs.
Thank you, Mr. Lowndes. This is Scott Murphy, Director of College and Career Readiness. And yes, as was said on Monday, we are thrilled to welcome back students in specific programs as follows: the construction program, automotive technology, cosmetology, Academy of Health Professions, and the restaurant management program, not only at Thomas Edison High School, but also at the 4 other high schools that Dr. Wilson mentioned. I want to just credit the schools who've been working over the last several weeks to prepare to bring these students back on Monday, March 1st, and we will then begin expanding March 15th and beyond as more and more students come back to school. Back to you, Mr. Turner.
Thanks, Scott. So if you're a parent in this program, how do you know that you're coming back March 1st? Have they received letters from their schools?
Yes, for March 1st and March 15th, each school is communicating with each family about their return, either in person on March 1st or also a confirmation if you're going to be remaining virtual for the foreseeable future. So each family is receiving communication from their school about what to expect March 1st, March 15th, and beyond.
Thanks, Scott. And so March 1st kicks this all off. But we see a big group of students coming into our schools, especially our younger students, on March 15th. And we're really excited to see our youngest learners back in our buildings to experience education with their classmates. It's going to look a lot different. It's going to feel a lot different. There's going to be masks and spacing, and we'll talk about that later. But I want to turn it over to my colleague, Sarah Sergo, to talk about what those elementary kids are going to experience in the classroom via instruction.
Thanks, Derek. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sarah Sergo. I'm one of the directors of Learning, Achievement, and Administration in the Office of Teaching, Learning, and Schools. And when we think about the instructional experiences, there's going to be a wide range of things that kids will experience. But I want you to think a little bit about what are the pillars of the learning experiences that kids have always had. Students have always had direct instruction. The teachers are delivering that currently through a virtual platform, and kids will continue to get direct instruction when they come into school or when they remain virtually. We also know that kids spend time at the elementary level working in small groups, working independently, and working with peers. And all of those pillars of the learning experience will continue whether a student remains virtually or comes to us in person. So we want to reassure families. I think a lot of times people are asking a lot of questions about the models and the staff assignment. And while that will look different in different schools because of their rate of return and the number of staff they have available and their spacing and their size, these pillars of learning that we've carried into our virtual experience will still be there in the in-person so that all kids will have a quality learning experience at the elementary, middle, and high school levels.
Thanks, Sarah. And one of the most popular questions we're getting from our community, we've received more than 1,000 questions, and they're coming in right now from YouTube as well. If someone wants to select in person now after they selected virtual in the survey, will there be another survey? How will they make that decision to come back, and how will they let the school know?
So a couple of different things. So most of our schools had to design their initial schedule, their structure around the response rate from December. It certainly is not an insignificant lift for our school teams to really figure out how to stand this programming up using the guidelines that we have been provided, particularly around space and acknowledging all of the different variables that impact staff availability. So schools have built their designs around December. Some schools, depending on the different grade levels, may have additional spaces available because occupancy and being able to create that physical distance is an incredibly important function of coming back into our buildings. If a school has space, they will accommodate a parent and a family. We would love to embrace and see all of our children. But there are some cases where there may not be space. And if there is not space, then a school will place a family on a wait list. And that wait list is, first come, first serve, if you will. Schools are going to continue to look at their plans and revisit to see if they can create more space within, again, the boundaries of their occupancy and the potential to look at what staff is available. So if you're a parent and you're saying, you know what, I thought I wanted virtual, but I really would like to go in person, or frankly, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you've changed your mind and you'd like to remain virtual. You just need to contact your school principal, make sure that you indicate to them what it is you're interested in. They will let you know whether they have space or not. And then they'll also ask you, particularly if you're coming in person, if you need transportation. We note that all in terms of our Synergy or our Parent View platform to confirm those things, and we'll continue to communicate with families as our waitlist situation changes. There are not a lot of schools with a waitlist now, but we do know that that's changing day by day, and we will certainly continue to look at that so that we can ensure we can welcome back as many students as that want to come and accommodate all of those family interests to the extent that we can.
Thanks, Sarah. And so we're going to take our first question from YouTube. Someone says, thanks for getting kids back to school. We need to get them caught up. Is there a plan to extend the school year? I'll turn over to my colleague, Nikki Hazel, who can talk about our summer program and how that will help connect with any learning loss that's happened.
Thank you very much. Nikki Hazel, Associate Superintendent of Curriculum and Instructional Programs. So yes, we certainly are planning for the summertime and addressing any unlearned content that we scheduled this school year. We certainly are looking very closely at our students and how they are doing and preparing for the summertime to ensure that we can go back and either reteach or teach some of the content that we had to remove in order to ensure that we were able to cover the school year. So we have a very robust plan scheduled for the summer. We want to make sure at the elementary level, particularly in literacy and mathematics, we are providing opportunities for students to make sure they have a strong foundation and are ready for the next level or next course. And also at the secondary level for students who might want to improve their grade, they may do that. We also have opportunities at the secondary level for students who chose to reduce their course load. They can take that opportunity this summer to take a course maybe that they didn't take during the school year. So we are planning for that. Also want to just say that for secondary students, those courses are actually posted on the website so that you can take a look now and see what's available and begin your planning.
Thanks, Nikki. And this is an interesting question from YouTube again. So someone wants to know, are students supposed to bring their computer back every day with them? And then what happens if they forget their computer? Pete, can you tell me a little bit about how computers are provided to students here?
Sure, Mr. Turner. This is Pete Chevenini, the Associate Superintendent for Technology and Innovation. Students are expected to bring their Chromebooks back and forth to school every single day, including their chargers. At school, we will be providing every student with headphones and eventually a case to protect the device. If students do forget their devices, though, each school is outfitted with a small amount of temporary devices that students can check out of maybe the media center or some other location to use for the day.
Thanks, Pete. And Kevin, is that the same process we're doing for our special education students?
Yes, it is. I just wanted to add for the summer programming for special education students that we're not making progress towards their goals during this time period or have fallen behind in their learning, we will be offering opportunities for compensatory services this summer as well. I just wanted to add that because I know that's been a question out there, Mr. Turner.
All right, so we've talked a lot about that return experience, but it's not going to be easy on our kids. And we're getting questions like, how are our kids going to be supported, their mental health and wellness? And we're going to talk a lot about their physical health and safety in a little bit. But in terms of their mental health, what are we doing to make sure this transition works? Some of these kids are coming back for the first time into a school building. Rochelle, can you tell me a little bit about what we have planned?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Turner. Good evening. Rochelle Rubin, Associate Superintendent in Student and Family Support and Engagement. So in terms of student and mental health and well-being, we have a complete wraparound package that includes at the teacher, the educator level, and really for all staff members, training that staff members have already started taking in reference to helping them unpack how to welcome students back, how do we create circumstances under which we acclimate our students back to the learning environment, and how do we keep the robust work that's happening online going. For our students, we have social emotional learning lessons that we have created here in Montgomery County Public Schools, as well as on Nearpod that address a variety of issues as stress management, how to manage your emotions around what's going on with the pandemic and so on. And then finally, we also have information available to our parents online on our Be Well 365 webpage. We have an entire parent toolkit that you can access there that'll allow you to see some of what your students will engage in and things for you as a parent in terms of where you can find resources and how you can get some support in anything that you may need related to this reentry process or just overall.
Thanks, Rochelle. And we have an interesting question that in fact, I don't know the answer to. So I'm going to turn to Scott Murphy. Can students who attend Thomas Edison elect to participate in the in-person program there, but stay home for the rest of the virtual program?
The answer is yes, absolutely. Keep in mind that the Thomas Edison High School schedule is actually arranged on a morning and afternoon schedule, so that the way our schedules actually play out in the high schools, one day is periods 1 through 4. So a student in the morning program would be at Thomas Edison for the day. And then on the alternating days may attend to be at their local high school to attend their classes with in-person support or remain virtual. So the bottom line is, as we return for CTE at Thomas Edison, their homeschool courses, they do have options for either being in person at their homeschool or virtual.
I knew there was a reason you were here, Scott. Thanks for that. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Essie McGuire, because we have a question about our youngest learners, and most of them are used to experiencing like before care and after care. Is that still going to be around in the new environment with the new restrictions?
So it certainly will be in a lot of our schools. Thank you for that. I'm Essie McGuire, and I'm the Associate Superintendent of Operations. Yes, we are working very closely with the providers who are already licensed in many of our elementary schools so that they can come back and provide that before and after care to our families that we know can just be such a critical part of the school day. Each provider is going to have to work through those details specifically to their own staffing, and we'll be developing individualized safety plans for each space in each school with those providers. And of course, we'll have to work with our schools to identify spaces that work within the framework of instruction that the school is putting together. But we are working through all those pieces, and we will have more information about what's available at each school as we move forward.
Thanks, Essie. So I have a question for Jeff Sullivan here. Question from Matthew Glassman. What's happening with school sports?
Good evening, Mr. Turner and everyone. Jeff Sullivan, Director of System-Wide Athletics. We are excited to welcome our student athletes back on campus this Saturday, February 27th, for the start of fall sports. Yes, that's right, fall sports. We are running our fall season for the second time this year. We ran it virtually during the first semester, and we're excited to welcome our student athletes back on campus starting on Saturday. We have worked collaboratively with the Department of Health and Human Services and the Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security to develop a plan to safely bring our student athletes back. And we've been working over the last several weeks to communicate that information. If you're wondering about our procedures and protocols, they are on our website on the COVID-19 athletics information page. But we are very excited for opening day and working very hard to provide those opportunities to welcome our student athletes back on campus.
That's great. And I know our athletes are really excited to get back on the field. So we have another question about student orientation. I know we're talking big picture here, but each school is kind of going through their own strategy about what's going to happen next. Sarah, can you tell me a little bit about what orientation is going to look like and how families are going to learn about their specific school experience?
Sure. So we have to think of this in certain stages. So the first stage that some schools are engaged in right now is really talking to families, and they have been, frankly, over the past number of weeks, about the general structure of what our boundaries are in doing the design. You know, they're giving some general overview around some of the health and safety protocols, including our, requirement of masks, some of the cleaning protocols, how classrooms will be set up, kind of talking about some of those operational pieces. Yesterday and today, all of our schools should have been communicating with their families to confirm what they are registered for in terms of, we have you down as a virtual student or we have you down as an in-person student, because we want to make sure that people remember what they completed in terms of the survey and have an opportunity to connect with us. Really now, from this point forward, up until we reopen, and I'm going to speak to March 15th specifically, because there's a big group coming back on March 15th, schools will be scheduling additional touch points. That may look like a school-wide community meeting to talk more specifically about the instructional design. It may be communication from grade level teams at the elementary level to the grade level families to explain what that grade level is going to be doing in terms of instructional delivery. But we know one of the big things that families keep asking us about is, well, who's going to be with my child? And we really want to reassure people in those meetings that all of our students will have access to a teacher. And that teacher may be living in the virtual space, they may be living in the in-person space, but all of our kids will continue to have access to teachers, as well as our highly skilled support professionals. We have not really given out a ton of monitors in the sense that our schools have said to us, we want our staff, we want our paraeducators, we want our teachers in front of our children that are in person or that are virtual. And so there's a commitment around that work. And I think our families will be really pleased to see that we aren't babysitting. We aren't just watching kids log in, but from our buildings, we are going to have staff there, either supporting, unscrambling confusion, checking for understanding, and working with our students, regardless of where that teacher space may exist overall.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. And so we have a question from YouTube from Laura Tucker. Given this year's an anomaly and kids clearly haven't learned the best. How are we going to assess their abilities, and are we going to ask them to take standardized tests? I know the State Board of Education had a decision yesterday around some of the testing, and we've heard lots of community conversation about what the students will experience in terms of extra testing during the spring semester. Janet or Diane, can you share a little bit about what testing will have to take place because of the state and how we're trying to manage these two components?
So I'd be happy to take that, Mr. Turner. The state did have a discussion yesterday, and we know absolutely that as students return back into buildings, the last thing that we want to do is to have them have to take a standardized test, whether it be our access for our English language learners or our MCAP assessments that are required by, as part of ESSA and the federal accountability system. So the state board did talk yesterday about making adjustments to that. We will have to take assessments, but they're looking at an abbreviated time period and also condensing the numbers of days that students will be engaged in those assessments. I do want to caution, though, there's more information to come about what those formats will look like, what the timing will be. But again, our goal is to transition students back into building, get them adjusted to being once again with their peers, with adults in the building, our teachers, our school leaders, and have emphasize that social emotional supports that we know, quite frankly, everyone needs, both students as well as our staff members, as we begin to stand up our in-person experiences for our students.
Thank you, Jen. And speaking of other kind of tests, I know that we have the AP exams and the SAT on the horizon as well. Scott, can you tell me a little bit about what those will look like for students?
Yes, for our high school students and families, we will be having the SAT offered throughout the spring on Saturdays, in addition to an opportunity during the school day in late April. Also wanted to mention that the College Board has announced additional flexibility with AP exams to include an extended window and also both in-person and digital options. So we are working now to develop a plan for that, getting a lot of input from our teachers, our students, the community, and we'll be getting back to the community about the plan for AP exams in the coming weeks.
Thanks, Scott. And I know we spent a lot of time talking about what the in-person experience will be like and our students transitioning back. But what about those students who are going to be staying in the virtual world for a little bit longer? Diane Morris, can you share a little bit about that virtual experience, if you have a moment?
Sure. Hi, good evening. I'm Diane Morris, Area Associate Superintendent in the in School Support and Improvement in the Office of Teaching and Learning. And so we really focused on the virtual platform because many of our kids, all of our students have been in it since last spring, and more than half are remaining in it while we turn to in person. And so it's really important that we continue to provide our staff with the resources that they need, with the professional learning to ensure that they're able to really provide a robust learning experience for those kids, to ensure that, you know, to set it beautifully, we're checking for understanding, we're unscrambling confusion. The direct instruction model has been occurring in the virtual space. And so we want to continue that, and we want to make sure that all of our students are experiencing success, and that those that remain on the virtual platform are having their need met as well.
Thanks, Diane. So we've talked a lot about the in-person experience, the learning experience, but underlying all of this is the COVID-19 pandemic. The reason that we're having this conversation, the reason things are so different than they were before. And I think it's important that underlying this is the health conditions and the safety of our students and our staff. So we want to pivot this conversation to talk about what MCPS is doing and will continue to do to keep our students and staff safe. So I want to start with a question from a community member around vaccinations. And they want to know, let me make sure I'm reading this right. How are you prioritizing and helping teachers and staff get vaccinated? Are you including classroom monitors in your plans? And are we going to be sharing specific names of staff who have been vaccinated? And I'll turn it over to my colleague, Helen Nixon, to talk about our vaccination effort on behalf of our staff.
Thank you, Derek. My name is Helen Nixon, Associate Superintendent for Human Resources and Development. Thank you for the question. So the names have been prioritized and sequenced with an emphasis on employees who are returning to work on March 1st, but also on employees who have been outward facing since the start of the pandemic. And of course, sequencing and prioritizing those who are returning on March the 15th. Right now, we have a limited partnership with Johns Hopkins University where we have been able to send over 9,000 names to them. And thus far, we have been able to vaccinate 5,851 staff members in total thus far. The other thing that we are doing is we are working closely with our DHHS colleagues in the county who know that they are going to be helping us out with vaccinations for the bulk of our staff members. Currently, there are two challenges. One, access to the vaccine, and two, the county continues to be in their phase 1B, prioritizing right now in Montgomery County residents who are over the age of 75. We also continue to strike out and try to cultivate other partnerships with other medical agencies. We are in talks with MedStar Health, Holy Cross, and Adventist to see if some of those agencies can also help us out. We have been working with our employee and retirement services to make sure we are cross-referencing all of the lists, checking with the schools to make sure we have been able to get the cohorts who are coming back on March 1st and March 15th. We will also be working with our communications office in the next couple of days to send out a survey to our staff members district-wide to get a sense of, again, who's had the vaccine, who still needs it, and who perhaps might be opting out of it. So it's not a mandatory requirement to have the vaccine. It is not a condition of employment. We are not at liberty to disclose who has received and who has not received the vaccine, as that is medically confidential information and cannot be disclosed. So those are some of the things that we're working on to try to make sure that we are getting folks vaccinated as quickly as we can. But again, one of the challenges that we face is access to the vaccine in the county. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we will be able to get more and more of our employees vaccinated as access to the vaccine becomes available.
Thanks, Helen. And vaccination is one of many mitigation strategies that we're using to keep our staff and students safe as our school buildings reopen. So I want to turn it over to my colleague, Essie, to talk about what are all the things that we're doing to keep our staff and students safe, to keep our schools safe moving forward.
So thank you. And we have a very full array of safety and mitigation measures that we are taking because, as you're saying, it really does take a multitude of approaches. It's not any one approach. We certainly know that the core of our health and safety measures starts with face coverings. Those masks are really important, and they're going to be required in all of our schools, our offices, our buses. They are our first protection in this pandemic. We're also going to focus a lot on hand sanitizing and hand washing. We're going to have hand sanitizer throughout the schools, very readily available, and lots of hand washing stations as well, and some friendly reminders throughout the building to keep those face coverings on, to ask someone if you need another one, because we will have plenty of extras, and to, again, wash and keep your hands clean. Of course, also very important is keeping physical distancing, and we know that a 6-foot distance is the requirement for how much space we want to keep. That means we will be running our schools with less capacity, with fewer students, and that will help us keep that separation and distance and help us continue with our instruction and continue to be together, but to be together in a safe and physically distant way. And so we'll be using all of the spaces in our buildings when you go back to schools, you'll see that desks are spread out. Some chairs at tables might be blocked off. We'll have individual spaces for students to keep their materials in the classroom. We won't be using lockers because those keep us too close together. So we're going to find ways to be in our school that, again, keep us there, keep us together, but also keep us with some separation and distance. Some of those large spaces will be helpful to us. We'll still be using our cafeterias, but we'll have to use them in smaller groups because we're going to be using those large spaces because we'll need every space in our school. We just won't be filling them up quite the same way that we did before.
Thanks, Essie. And so I want to talk specifically about PPE in different spaces as well. So I want to turn to my colleague, Kevin. What is it, the PPE experience going to look like for special education programs?
So for the programs that are returning on March 1st, we've developed some PPE kits that are enhanced PPE for the students that are returning and the staff that are returning from March 1st. We understand that the students in these programs will have some difficulty with the social distancing and maybe the mask wearing. And so we want to make sure that our staff and our students are safe. So we have gone and worked with Essie McGuire and her folks to make sure that we purchased and provided enhanced PPE, such as face masks, gowns, gloves, N95 masks for these folks. And we just make sure that we are prepared for all our programs within special education to make sure that our staff is ready and prepared and safe when our students return to buildings.
And Nikki, what about art and PE? How is that different?
So we are excited to share that we will be able to have art, music, PE, instrumental music in schools, as well as have it virtually. We want to share that for art, we've provided guidance around distancing and not sharing materials. Music, we actually are supplying our students with 3-ply masks so that they may be able to participate and also maintain the distancing. For instrumental music, our wind instruments will have masks that have a slit in them, so they will be able to play. And our brass instruments will have a bell cover. And also for other areas like our science and technology, where they may be doing experiments, we have provided schools with guidance around safety to be able to participate in those types of learning experiences. So we are really excited that they can continue. Same with PE, providing guidance around moderate activity in the building, and also maintaining the distance. So those things will still be able to occur. I also want to share in terms of mask wearing. We've had a lot of questions around our students who are ESOL students, who are second language learners, and our students who are taking world languages. As they are receiving instruction from their teacher, it's very important that the teacher's face is shown as they're speaking to students. And so we have been working with our operations department on providing teachers with those clear masks so that students are able to see the teachers as they are pronouncing words. So we are ready to go.
Thanks, Nikki. And I just want to pivot back to Helen for just a second, because I want to make sure that we answer our community's question around monitors and subs. Will they get in our pool for vaccination?
Thank you, Derek. Yes, so it was a multi-part question, and I neglected to just touch on that. And so, yes, the answer is yes. Substitute teachers, temporary part-time monitors would be included in our list, and we would put them in the priority of the sequencing of the phasings of the reopening to ensure that they also had access to the vaccine. Yes.
Thanks, Helen. So we've talked PPE. We've talked about distancing. We're going to do a lot of cleaning in our buildings as well. We're going to do a lot of hand washing, and we can talk about those. And we're going to do contact tracing. And I know there's a lot of people who have some anxiety about if there's a case in a school, how do we follow up? So Essie, can you tell me how that process works?
Absolutely. Thank you. And it's an important process. Unfortunately, it's one where there is a lot of information. Our health offices have been so helpful in always partnering with us around any case, and that will continue to be the case when we have students in schools. All of our schools will have a school health nurse or a school health technician in them. And that employee, we're very, very fortunate that our school health services are come to us through our public health office here in the county. So they will be our first point of contact if there is a case in the building, or if there are anyone presents with a report of a COVID case or any COVID-like symptoms. And the protocols for how to address that are very clearly laid out in state and federal guidance. So we will work with our school health nurses and school health professionals around that. We also have staff who are trained in the contact tracing protocols. And what that really involves is taking the very specifics of the individual who may be affected and then working with them to understand who they came in contact with, how close they were to people, and how long that contact was. It's not necessarily the whole building. It really becomes about the circles of contact that individual had. Those circles could be kind of limited, or they could be a little bit bigger. But as we work through that, that's how we make decisions with our Department of Health and Human Services around who is potentially impacted and then who may need to quarantine. In addition to individuals who may need to quarantine, and again, they'll have information from our local health office around that. In addition to that, we will let the school community know that case has occurred so that folks are informed of what's going on in the building and what their relative level of risk might be surrounding that particular situation.
And a question from YouTube, are all schools going to be following the same health protocols?
Yes, absolutely. We have worked very closely, again, with school health services. And again, we're very grateful for that partnership. And we have very clear protocols that will be the same across all the schools.
Great. So we've talked about kind of the core that the CDC has required for reopening schools. That's the face coverings, the distancing, the cleaning, the contact tracing, and the hand washing. And that's what the CDC says. These are the baseline to reopen schools. But we've gone a little bit further than that. And I want us to talk a little bit about the other things that we're doing. And we're getting questions about, what is health attestation? Why do I have to do it? And is it mandatory? So Essie, can you share a little bit about the attestation process?
Absolutely. And health attestation is a best practice that we know folks have encountered this. If you go to a doctor's office, I know from experience, if you go to the MVA, it's really a way to say that you have acknowledged that you've reviewed your own health situation and that you know that you are feeling healthy enough to be in a public space. And so it's a best practice that, again, other school systems have employed and that we will as well. It's some simple questions. Have you had a fever in the last 24 hours? Have you had any symptoms of COVID? Or have you had a known exposure? And so those kinds of questions, just again, it's a reminder to people to check your own health, to remind you that we're all part of the health community together, and it's all of our responsibilities to keep each other safe. And so in the schools, we'll be formally doing that attestation once a week with our staff and families, but really it is also a reminder to families to do it every day. And so that practice, again, it's a daily practice. There'll be plenty of reminders and discussions about it. We do encourage, of course, all of our staff and students, if anyone is not feeling well and has those symptoms, please stay home and take care of your health and communicate with your school about that. That attestation process is going to be a standardized process. But again, we also just know that families and staff will be attentive to their health every day as part of the school community.
Great. And one of the things that your office is doing that's really great is sending home thermometers with all the students who are returning in person so that taking your temperature isn't a barrier. And we're asking our students to take their temperature daily so that they can be part of this, what we're calling a social compact agreement, that we're all going to stay safe together. So in addition to that, we're getting questions about who will monitor the isolation room. So Essie, if you can tell me, one, what an isolation room is, and then two, yesterday the board approved millions of dollars for school health services and how those two intersect.
Yep, absolutely. So an isolation room is what the state regulations call it. We're not loving that name rather. So we can think of it as potentially a care room or a room for individuals who are sick. But really the reason that we have that in the current situation is so that we have our regular health suite, which is if a student needs a Band-Aid or needs assistance taking their medication, we'll still have the health room for those regular school health needs. But we want to have a separate room for individuals who are presenting with any symptoms that, again, are similar to COVID. So if an individual, a student, or a staff member is having some of those concerning symptoms during the day, we'll have a space where they can be that will not be in contact with other individuals. They won't have to be in the same health room with the student who needs a Band-Aid. We'll be able to take care of both of those needs, but safely and separately. Those rooms will absolutely always be monitored and supervised by a health professional. And so, as I said, we are so grateful for our partnership with the county and the Department of Health and Human Services. But we know that our public health services colleagues are also very busy. And so what we wanted to have with the board's approval yesterday is the ability to have some additional health employees that we can draw on their expertise as well through a contract services if we just need extra hands in the building that are health professionals, if we need coverage for breaks or for lunch or for breaks, if we do have a situation where there's multiple students with needs, we want to be able to call an additional health professional just to provide sort of a backup as needed supplement to our overall network of health services in the schools.
Thanks, Essie. And I just want to share some positive news in terms of our data and trends. Right now, we're at 12 cases per 100,000 in Montgomery County. We've seen a huge decline in the number of positive cases and the test positivity rate from 44 cases per 100,000 just a month and a half ago to just 12 now. So we're happy to see this. That means that our community is wearing their masks, they're distancing, and they're really taking care of themselves, which allows us to start reopening our schools safely. So thank you to our community members for doing your part. And we're really excited to take this opportunity to move our kids into in-person learning for those who want to. So we have a question here about quarantining for spring break. So Essie, we know that there are restrictions by the governor that you shouldn't travel to certain places to help limit the spread. What are the rules now, and how is MCPS going to apply those rules to students?
Yep, absolutely. That's an important question. We know spring break's coming up. We know people are, in some cases, tired of being at home, but we do want to remind everybody there are still travel restrictions in effect. There are travel restrictions in effect. Actually, the CDC still has travel warnings out, but importantly for us here in the state of Maryland, any state that is not immediately adjacent to Maryland, there is a quarantine requirement if you travel out of state, again, beyond those adjacent states. And if you come back, you do still have to quarantine. MCPS is observing the recommended 14-day quarantine. There are sort of, some states have different measures for different things, but we are in concert with our state and local health agencies observing the 14-day quarantine. So if an employee or a student travels beyond West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Delaware, and Washington, D.C., then you are going to need to quarantine when you come back, which means as much as we would love to welcome you back to school, you will need to be on virtual learning for that 14-day quarantine period afterwards.
Thanks, Essie. And I want to turn to Diane and Sarah. How will that look for that student when they come back or they're coming back from quarantine? How will that work? How will that transition work for the students?
So, each school has been thinking through kind of the plans of how they would make the transitions from in-person and virtual as necessary. And so because all of our schools do have a virtual program that is running in some way, there should be the ability for families who need to log in virtually to be able to continue to do so. It may require some adjustments in terms of which class they log into or so on and so forth, but that should still be available. And our schools are still working on how they would define and make arrangements for that.
Thanks, Sarah. So I want to pivot back to how we're keeping our schools safe. We've talked about a lot of things, and I know, Essie, you're getting tired of talking about all these things, but we're doing above and beyond what we need to do. And one of the other things that we're doing is investing millions upon millions of dollars in our HVAC system and ventilation. Talk about those investments and what they mean for air quality in our water system.
Absolutely. And we're happy to talk about all the safety measures because we really want everyone to feel comfortable coming back to our school buildings. We feel so good about all the work that we've done to prepare them. And the air quality and the air handling systems are a very important part of our work. The Society of Air Handling Engineers actually put out some industry standards for how to prepare air handling systems in spaces like schools, where you have a lot of people in one building, and you also have a big system. It's a much bigger, different system than the ones we have in our homes. And those systems are in many cases equipped to take care of large volumes of air. But the standards really require that we increase the amount of outside air that we bring in. So we're increasing the ventilation, and we're also moving that air through the building faster than we normally would. That actually is counter to some of the practices we've put in recent years to save energy. But certainly we're happy at this moment to switch those around to meet the health standards. So we're moving a lot of air through the building. We're moving it through quickly. And we are also increasing the efficiency and density of the filters that we put in our systems. So they are filtering out more air. They are more particles, pardon me. They are higher intensity filters. Most of our systems, many of our systems, especially our newer ones, can handle all those changes just fine. And so what it takes is, again, it takes a different filter, takes different operations. We make some different modifications to the controls, and most of them are fine. Some of our systems require a little more work in order to be able to handle that degree of, again, of air. And it just affects differently how the system is handling the air and the filtration. So we're making those modifications as well. And again, that can also, as Derek was saying, those are expensive investments, but again, we're pleased to be able to make them. And we're very happy to have our folks out there doing that hard work right now, even as we speak. And so in addition to that, in some of our systems that really can't be brought up quite to the level we would like them to, we are also adding air cleaners into individual spaces and classrooms. Now, again, not every system needs those. So if you're in a school and you don't see an air cleaner, that's okay. What it means is that the big system is doing its job, and that we have made the adjustments to it, and again, increase the filtration that we need to do. But in some of our schools, we will add those, and we've bought lots of them and spent millions of dollars. And again, we want every space to be brought up to the level of quality that it needs to be to handle those situations where we have large numbers of people in an area.
Thanks, Essie. And so just to be clear, water fountains are off, but filling stations are on, right? That's how we're going to handle water?
That is right. Sorry, I forgot the water. Yes. And we have also, we're flushing out all the systems in all the water systems. We have a protocol that we follow at the end of every summer. And we're treating this like a long summer and doing it again so that we will move a lot of water through the pipes. And that is a tested best practice of how to just be sure that everything is flushed and ready to go. So we feel confident about the water systems, and those water bottle filling stations, we feel confident about the safety of those. The main reason we're turning off the other communal filters is really just to prevent contamination from people using them. It's not about our concern about the water or the fixtures. It's just a health measure so that people aren't sharing that space. But in an area where we don't perhaps have the water bottle fillers, we are going to be providing water dispensers, because we absolutely will have water available in every building.
Thanks, Essie. And we want to pivot to sports, because safety for our athletes is also critical here. And now we're coming back to fall sports in the spring. Jeff, tell me how that's going to work.
So we have our Return to Raise plan that has all of our procedures and protocols in there. And the plan aligns with the CDC, Maryland State Department of Health, and our State Athletic Association, as well as our Montgomery County guidelines for youth sports. So we have taken all of that guidance and used our partnership with DHHS and Emergency Management Homeland Security. And our group, our task force, has created protocols. So you're going to see masks on our student athletes. You're going to see a progression through the activities. So starting on Saturday, you'll see conditioning. And then we will introduce small group individual skill-based activities, and then small group scrimmages, and then working up to intra-squad scrimmages, and then contests later in March. And so each step of the way, we're going to be working with our task force and with DHHS to guide those incremental steps through the activities. So on Saturday and next week, you're going to see outside groups of 25. We're calling them pods. indoors for girls volleyball only in the gym, groups of 10. And all of those, all the protocols have been approved through that task force, as well as equipment. So as we're introducing equipment, training all of our coaches over the last 2 weeks in appropriately cleaning equipment, and then really the messaging of our student athletes. Our Student Athlete Leadership Council created a PSA that we released last week about the importance of our student athletes doing their part, not just while participating in our activities, but throughout the community and being leaders amongst other students and really promoting health and safety as a student athlete, but as well as a member of our community and contributing so we can continue to keep our program going to provide that outlet for our students and then ultimately to get our community back rolling. So again, we're very excited and all of our plans are on our website for our community to look at, and we're going to be promoting those to our student athletes and parents and coaches here as we get started.
And Jeff, you mentioned cleaning, which we're getting a lot of questions in the YouTube chat about who's going to be doing cleaning in our schools. I know we have building service staff, but are teachers going to be chipping in? Are students expected to do some cleaning? Essie, can you tell me how that's going to be distributed?
Absolutely. So we have so much gratitude for our building services staff. They always do a good job of keeping our buildings clean. And we know that right now there's even more attention on that than ever before, and they are doing a great job. However, it's going to take all of us. It is going to take everyone to really keep everything at the level that we know we would like to keep it, because again, building services just can't be everywhere. So we will have cleaning supplies in the classroom, and individuals will really just be responsible for cleaning kind of their own area. We'll have wipes that students can use, that teachers can use, people can use paper towels and water. There are just going to be those different cleaning supplies in the classroom that people can use just for their own personal areas. Certainly building services and our employees will be coming through to do regular and increased cleaning of those high touch areas, railings, doorways, handles, all those different areas will be cleaned regularly, and the classrooms will be as well. But if there's an immediate cleaning need in the classroom, there'll be supplies there that individuals can take care of it with.
Great. And buses too, they're going to be cleaned regularly?
Absolutely. And the buses will also have all the supplies. They'll have masks and hand sanitizer. They will have cleaning supplies on the buses as well. Bus drivers are going to wipe down the seats and the high touch areas in between every route. And then at the end of the day, we have a sprayer that will clean the entire bus and have it ready to go for the next day.
Thanks. And so I'm going to turn to Diane, because I know Diane has an elementary school age child. And one of the questions we're getting is around how is recess going to work? And I know that our youngest kids are really excited about going outside for recess. What are you thinking? What is it going to look like for recess for our kids?
So you're right. I do have a third grader and I have an 11th grader who are really excited to get back in person. My third grader is really looking forward to it. And our office has really been working with principals to really be thinking about how we could provide those opportunities for students in a safe way. So it's around rotating through lunch and recess to ensure that the smaller groups of students, a lot of it's going to be about reminding the students about those, social distancing, how to be safe, wearing their masks. And then there's also cleaning protocols for the playgrounds. So we're currently, with all of our principals, including high school, we talked about that briefly. It was discussed at the board meeting yesterday, but just how do we utilize spaces in buildings? How do we think about it differently? And how do we really create those opportunities for kids, particularly those little ones who, I think if you asked my son, he would say that's probably what he's most excited about for return. But to do that and ensure it's safe. So that's where the directors are really sitting with principals, talking about it, looking at space, looking at available staff, and really designing it so that there's a good flow and we're able to maintain safety while ensuring that everyone is having a great time and enjoys those pieces of school. Sarah, I don't know if you have anything you want to add about elementary resource in particular.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that our schools are looking towards is to really maximize the time for students to be outdoors. And so a lot of them are reimagining their play space in terms of looking at this idea of zones, looking at certain areas of the playground or the fields being used for certain things, making sure that there's a rotational opportunity to be outside. So, historically, anyone who's been to an elementary school can see it. Sometimes there could be 150 kids out on a playground. So we're not going to go to that extent. Some schools are looking at rotation. So on Mondays and Thursdays, grades K and 3 go outside for recess. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, they have some sort of an indoor recess time. And so schools are looking creatively to figure out the best way to get kids that important movement break. And make sure that they have time to play safely. And of course, bookending all of these things with really important hygiene protocols for hand washing. A lot of schools are encouraging kids to bring more than one mask and kind of change their mask midday. Or of course, we will offer students a mask. So just continuing to look at how we can maximize those times outdoors.
Thanks, Sarah. And you mentioned lunch, and I think that's a critical question for many of our community. How will lunch work? You have to have your mask off to do that. So we've got a question about that. Essie, how will it look in schools?
So we are working with each school to develop a lunch approach that, again, makes sense for that school and that school community, because we know everything is, each school is configured a little bit differently. But the core experience of lunch is going to also rely on that physical distancing, because yes, people will have their masks off to eat. But if we're staying separate from each other, I think it's also important that things stay lined up so that people are facing in the same direction and not facing each other when they're eating with their masks off. Those are all practices that we will put in place to make that, again, a safe experience while we're eating. We'll eat, again, in a lot of different areas that enable us to keep that distancing. We'll also continue to practice our safe food practices, such as not sharing and keeping a close eye on any allergies that we need to be attentive to, just the way we would in a typical year.
Thank you for that. And I want to thank Rachel Riesling for the question about elementary recess. I think that's a really important one that people have asked about. So we've talked about the lunch experience and the mask down. And one of the things that we know that creates additional risk in our schools. But one of the things we're doing to help mitigate risk and help us know how COVID-19, if it's transmitting or if they're asymptomatic students, is a new COVID-19 test procedure that will be weekly for our staff and students. Essie, can you describe the program and how it will be implemented for our safety?
Absolutely. So the testing program, as you said, it's important for us just as another layer of protection and understanding about what's the health conditions in our schools. And so the program will apply to, we're doing what's called pool testing, so that each classroom will, each student will have a nasal swab, take that swab with a little stick, put it back in the tube, and then we test all of those tubes in that cohort together. If there's a positive test, then we do ask that class to quarantine so that we can do the follow-up contact tracing, but also some follow-up testing to understand more specifically the health dynamics that are going on in that classroom and who might be impacted. Certainly, it's a great way for asymptomatic testing, and again, to understand a way to reduce the spread of asymptomatic cases, because that way if a person has symptoms, they would already be staying home and not contacting with others.
Thanks, Essie. And so I have a question for Janet and her team from Sarah Blumberg. What do safe, acceptable interactions between students look like in person? What kind of expectations should staff set for students? That's an interesting one.
Well, I'll start with this one, Mr. Turner, and certainly, classroom setups are going to look very different. I heard from a kindergarten a question about, kindergarten students returning, and in particular for those students who didn't have a pre-K experience, they won't really know much different, right? It'll be like that's just the way school is. But for other students who have had a school experience, coming into the school when they're in a classroom and they were used to sharing a crayon bucket, or they were used to sitting in 4 squares, 4 desks together and doing cooperative activities, those things will really look different. in this particular situation, especially to students who have had a school experience before. So as students come into the buildings, there's going to be a couple of changes immediately for them. And that is, of course, the travel through the hallway, the wait at the restroom areas, how they do and don't interact in the classroom that they were accustomed to. But one of the things, too, that we're constantly reminding folks of is that our virtual platform afforded a classroom community. And yes, it was not in person, but still we have teachers who are tied to students in a classroom community, and they've been together all year. We know that essentially as students break away and come in person, those classroom communities will change somewhat. And the supports that students have throughout the day may be different adult supports than they have been accustomed to on the virtual platform. We know that our principals, especially in our elementary schools, are emphasizing the importance of those classroom communities coming together periodically because they have been together. And we know that students are relying on that as well as the interactions with those in person, for those social emotional elements of making sure that our students are okay. I'm going to toss this also to Ms. Hazel and Mr. Murphy for both the elementary and secondary perspectives on what will be different in terms of the instructional experiences and the ways in which students go about their day, if they have any additional information they'd like to add.
Well, I will start by talking about elementary from the instructional perspective. I do think that for those students who are used to I'm thinking about reading groups and things of that nature. It might look a little bit different. Students may be spread apart a little bit more. Teachers may be a little further away from students as we are experiencing and practicing our reading skills. We may have teachers working maybe with a couple of students, particularly in those primary grades, on those foundational skills where we're learning phonics and those types of things. So those experiences may be a little bit different. We may have groups that are spread out a little bit more in terms of sharing, as Dr. Wilson said, sharing materials. We used to have all of those materials at the center of a table that now students may have their own small packet of materials. And we certainly will be expecting our students to bring some of their consumable materials. For example, in mathematics, they have workbooks and things of that nature will need to be carried back and forth between home and school. So there will be some adjustments in terms of the way students interact with one another and also the way we use materials in the classroom. Mr. Murphy, do you want to talk about secondary?
Sure. So at the secondary level, similarly, I think there will be some parts of the experience that will feel familiar and others that will seem very different. And so some of what's familiar may be moving in different classrooms during the day. They will not be in the same place all day long. Another experience that will be familiar is an extended lunch period where there's sort of a menu of options to get academic support, do work, see a counselor. We also want to make sure that our seniors who may be worried about graduating, need to do that last push to the end of the year, have opportunities to really focus in on items that are needed to graduate. But then again, at first especially, there will not be a lot of people there. So the experience will feel different. So, I think it's really going to be a blend of what students are used to, starting with smaller numbers at first and then phasing into hopefully what will start to feel more familiar and normal over time.
And one of the changes that we're going to see is that the virtual infrastructure is now the backbone of connecting our students together who are online in person. And that technology setup is going to look different for the classroom. So Pete, what are those tools that are going to be in the classroom for students to experience learning differently?
Sure. So teachers are going to be able to use their smart boards like they traditionally have. They're also going to be able to use their desktops. We have added microphones so that teachers can speak clearly, and students at home and in the classroom can hear the same thing. Those devices also allow for all students in the room to be able to speak as well for group instruction and group discussion, so that all students at home can use that as well. I think those are going to be the key pieces that we use in the classroom. Our internet as well is very robust, we believe, so that all of the things that are happening right now can continue to happen for those students at home.
Thanks, Pete. And we have a question from the handle Library Mom. And this one's, I think, for Nikki Hazel. What about the library in a school? Well, my child loves to read. Will they still be able to check out books?
So yes, our library media office is working very closely with schools to come up with systems for students to be able to check out books and also maintain safety and cleaning and those types of things. So we will be able to maintain our library programs, but they will look a little bit different, and they'll be putting some safety protocols in place, and they will be explained to students when they arrive.
Thanks, Nikki, and shout out to the library team for putting together the bookmobiles during the summer and delivering books to the community. That is an awesome old school idea, but I know that our kids loved it. So thank you to that team and the transportation team for getting those books out there. So we have a question about how is community use of schools going to work moving forward? Bessie?
So unfortunately, we are still going to be in that place where we're not able to open our schools for community use, certainly not the way we used to. And we know that a lot of different organizations and individuals would make good use of our schools, and we're happy to share. But in the current environment, we absolutely need to restrict use of our schools to our students and our staff for in-person instruction. And we will have some limited community use as we were discussing. The before and after care, for example, is one example of community use that will still go on in our schools. People don't always think of that as community use, but certainly it is, again, a partnership that we have. And we will have similar types of experiences for students that we know we want to be able to support in partnership when it is able to connect again with our instructional program. So we'll be doing that in an effort to, again, just continue to extend some of those opportunities for families. Excel Beyond the Bell, for example, is an example of a similar partnership that we have with the county's Department of Recreation. Some of those types of experiences we will be able to continue for families, but it certainly will be more limited because we just have to focus on the safety of the school environment and maintaining that space for our instructional purposes.
Thanks. And so we're getting a lot of questions about the self-administered COVID testing in our schools and how it works. And just to let folks know, it's like every student gets a Q-tip essentially on their desk, and they stick it in the lower part of their nose and swirl it around each nostril 4 times. They stick it in a tube off to the side of the room, and then it's picked up and it's shipped out to the vendor. They get it back to us and let us know if there's a positive case in that classroom or if the classroom is clean. And we really think that we expect our classrooms to have negative cases, but we are prepared if there is a positive case. And what happens, as he explained, with contact tracing, when we identify a positive case, classrooms go into quarantine, the process goes into effect with school health services and Department of Health and Human Services. So this is just another tactic for us to keep our schools safe. Right now, it is an opt-out. We think everyone should want to participate in this. They'll know if they're healthy. They'll know if they're bringing home COVID-19 to their families. So we really think this is a great strategy for everyone to benefit, not just our students, but the whole community. And so on that, people are asking, what conditions might we shut down the whole school or the whole system? What are we contemplating that?
So certainly that would require, I think, or would be caused by a very dramatic change in the conditions. As you pointed out earlier, Derek, we're so glad that the metrics and the numbers in our county are improving. The numbers are decreasing. And again, we're just very glad to be seeing that. The health guidance that the board did adopt in collaboration with our local health office in the fall did indicate, though, that if there is a change in the numbers for the worse, if the case rate increases by a certain amount, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the exact number right now, but if the case rate increases, I think it's by 2 per 100,000, or if the positivity rate increases by 2% over 2 weeks, we will absolutely reevaluate and take a look at what needs to be changed in our approach, if anything. And we'll do that, of course, in collaboration, again, with our local health office, as well as any other context that's going on in the state or the region. So we would take a look at that. Relative to a school, I think that's a question that a lot of people have relative to what if there's a case in my school. And again, I just want to assure people that we always start with our public health colleagues, and we work with them to understand what are those concentric circles, what are the rings of individuals that may have come into contact with the person who is exposed or has a positive case. And we work from there. And it can be a small group of people, but if it's a larger group of people, we absolutely will, again, let people know and make that decision, and make the decision with our public health colleagues that's right for that situation and for that school community.
Thanks, Tessie. So we have an interesting question. I will admit I was a safety patrol when I was in elementary school, very proud of it. And a person wants to know what will happen to the 4th and 5th grade patrols. How will students participate in activities? Diane, can you share about what those activities look like, or are there others who want to jump in?
So just like, I mean, it's just planning ahead. I think some opportunities where it's a natural fit and they can still continue to do that given who's around them and what they're doing. You know, on buses, certainly have the social distancing that we've worked with our bus operators to ensure that students are distanced, and we can see the patrols assisting with that, but we do want to make sure that their safety is number one and that we're not jeopardizing their distance from the other students, because we let our safety patrols take that job very seriously and do an incredible job to help ensure that their friends are safe, but we need to make sure they're safe as well. So it's something that we're going to revisit with our schools to really make sure that we create a balanced approach, that those students have an opportunity. I'm going to turn it over to Sarah. She may have more specific details about what schools are thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the question. And a lot of our elementary principals have been asking the same question. And one of my colleagues, Shella Cherry, who is the Director of Student Leadership and Extracurricular Activities, has been really thinking deeply about what this might look like. And, you know, what she would say is one of the essential goals of the program is to help develop leadership among students as they serve the school community. And so she has made some suggestions about how they can lead using health and safety as their content until there's an opportunity to support, of course, more of the traditional on the ground things. And so while our students aren't riding the bus or the bikes, perhaps, or even walking to school in many cases, they're still in our community. And so she's working on some guidance on a virtual safety patrol program and some considerations for health and safety. So hopefully we're trying to give our sponsors who support the programming an opportunity to think creatively and keep that program going in some way so we can really continue to foster that leadership work for our upper elementary students.
Thanks, Sarah. So I want to come to a question that I think is an important one. Will students with disabilities have to self-administer their COVID test? If not, who will? And that's one of the conversations we've been trying to have with our vendor and what's appropriate for our students. And it's probably happened on a case-by-case basis. But what we want to do is have that level of precaution and safety. But what we don't want to do is do something that's going to disrupt that student's learning or their ability to focus in class. And so we're really trying to think through those things, and we're going to be working with Kevin Lowndes and his team to make sure we're doing the right things for the students who need them. So I know that's a question that's out there, and we're going to get an answer as soon as we can. So thank you for that. We have a question from YouTube. Can you talk more about how virtual and face-to-face instruction will happen simultaneously? So I'll turn to Sarah and Diane. Can you talk about those experiences?
Sure, I'll start. So simultaneous instruction is where the teacher is teaching or dividing their attention in some ways between two groups, the group that is in front of them and the group that may be virtually engaged in another site. And so simultaneous refers to when a teacher is working with two groups of students at the same time who aren't all in the same space. And so, our technology team has provided really outstanding guidance to our schools about the way in which they can use their existing technology and some of the supplemental technology that we referred to earlier in order to create this. And so that's one of the options that some of our schools have chosen to pursue. Again, specific to the staff member, the students that they're serving, their content, and their comfort with engaging in that kind of an approach. So that's a little bit about what simultaneous would look like.
And how does the technology work in that classroom, Pete? What is the simultaneous technology experience?
Well, if you think about a teacher teaching from home, right, they're using a Zoom experience and they're teaching in their entire class, right? So if you think about a classroom environment, they're able to teach to students who are present in the classroom, but they also can use their smartboard, a webcam, and a microphone to additionally teach students who are not in the classroom. So they're using the same kind of idea. The difference is they're using it from their classroom versus home, and they're having students watch physically versus all students watch remotely.
And Janet, did you want to chime in?
I just wanted to say that, I spoke a little earlier about this importance of classroom community, and that simultaneous can really afford that continued connection periodically with the groups of students who have been together all along in that virtual space. And as Dr. Sergo said, also, the students are in a different location, and that location does not necessarily have to be at home. It could be another classroom in the building where the teacher is teaching from a classroom, and then they can actually even relocate to that classroom as well and use simultaneous to another classroom. So it does promote that sense of classroom community periodically that I know many people are concerned about.
So Janet, while your mic's open, I might as well ask, we're getting the question from different sides. We're getting, why can't we accelerate this and open up all the schools and all the students back in on March 1st? And then we're asking, why are we opening schools when there is still a pandemic underway? Can you tell about the strategy, how we're going to do these phases and how we're going to do them safely?
So as we've, this is really a lot about statistics and numbers. And we had the parent survey that closed in December. And that really told us how many parents were willing to send their students or considering to send their students back into school. So that was a very important number for us. In addition to that, Ms. McGuire's operations team, especially those who work with facilities, really helped us look at the space allocations within the CDC guidelines. And when you look at the number of students who want to come into the building and the space available to keep everyone safe, that basically told us a lot about how we could stage students into our buildings in a safe way. And we know that the community, many people in the community would like us to accelerate, and certainly we want as many students as possible within those guidelines to be served in person. But we also know that we have never transitioned from a virtual program into an in-person, partial in-person with a number of students coming into buildings before. And I think it's very important for us to understand what we're going to learn from that first phase, so that we can then apply that to other phases coming in. That topic is not a closed topic, but I think when MCPS, as the largest school system in Maryland, is bringing in phase one over 18,000 students in grades K to 3, who have not been in schools for 11 months, we're likely to learn a lot about that first phase that will help us be more efficient and effective for the other stages of the phases that we currently have planned.
Thanks, Janet. And one of the questions we're getting is, what is this A/B rotation thing? They're hearing like these different terms. Diane or Sarah, what is an A/B rotation, and how does that affect how students are coming back?
So in some of our schools, when you look at the number of students that indicated they wanted to return, the numbers were such that we had to make sure that we could rotate them in a safe way. And so we had to take the groups and divide them so that one group would be Group A. They would come for a week, while Group B is home on the virtual platform, and then they would switch. So that essentially each group is coming in approximately 2 times a month, 2 weeks out of the month rather, to get their in-person experience. It's just a way that we had to separate the students to ensure that we were in compliance with CDC guidelines and the social distancing piece.
Thanks, Diane. We have an important question from the community, and I want to turn to Rochelle. What plans do we have to get students mentally prepared and addressed for the anxiety they may have for going back to school?
Sure, thank you. I think our well-being teams are doing a tremendous job. They've seen over 7,000 cases so far, dealing with a variety of issues, many of them social emotional, attendance, and they're ready. We've had a series of, we started some drop-in sessions where we're really looking to get consistent with the well-being teams across our 205 schools. And I think they're a great resource and prepared. Moreover, though, as we speak about direct services to students, our counselors and our school psychologists are moving to an appointments model where they will make appointments with students, have caseloads, and certainly the parent community coordinators, the pupil personnel workers, all working together on that well-being team. It's a real wraparound format. So we feel strongly that students will find that support not only in the SEL lessons that I mentioned earlier, which I think the students have had some positive feedback to, but the human capital support in the form of our staff members that are geared up and ready to go. And again, that's in person and that's virtual for those who are wondering or feeling like, will I still be getting a robust online experience? We're prepared to manage the district in both of those mediums.
Thanks, Rochelle. I think that's a really important statement because there are many of our families who are staying in the virtual platform for the rest of the year. I mean, they may opt later on to join a wait list and try to come in, but we know that many of them are ready to continue with the virtual platform for the rest of the year. So Nikki Hazel, just tell me more about that virtual experience again, and how will it feel for those students? Are they going to be the secondary thought for the teachers in the classroom?
Absolutely not. I believe Diane said earlier that the majority of our students will actually remain virtual at this time. And we want to assure all of our families and our staff that the virtual learning environment is still very much a part of the main instructional experience. And we are continually working to make sure that we are maintaining and improving the virtual learning experience for our students. And so we in central office are supporting staff to make sure that they have the lessons and materials that they need, and that students have the opportunities to be online. And when they return to school as well, we want to make sure that we are supporting teachers as they are navigating both the virtual environment and those students in front of them. So we'll be supporting our students and our staff in that way. So it's very much very important. We don't want anyone to think that our virtual students are in any way going to be secondary to the students who are returning to school. Both groups are extremely important.
Scott, did you want to add on to that?
Yeah, just wanted to add on that, to our middle and high school students in particular, we know that managing 7 or 8 classes at a time can be challenging in the virtual environment. So to our secondary students, you still have time to perhaps request an abbreviated schedule and take a course over the summer instead of right now. There are also opportunities to take a class or two pass-fail instead of for a letter grade with some parameters. So there are still those options to lighten the load to manage what is a lot in the virtual experience. So I encourage our secondary students to talk to their counselors and administrators if they want to pursue any of those options.
Great, thanks, Scott. And so we're going to start wrapping up, and this is the best part of this. We've talked about a lot of things. We've covered everything from operations to mental health to students in the classrooms, the experience. But there's so much that we haven't had a chance to cover. So I want you to take a moment, think about the one thing you wish we had covered here, and the one thing that parents need to know and students need to know and staff need to know before they come back to buildings for learning or start with the transition on March 1st. And while you're thinking about that, I just want to give a plug to all of our principals, all of our teachers, all of our support staff who have been building these plans and making our buildings safe for return and keeping our students learning during this pandemic. We could not have done this without you. Our students need you and they thank you. We thank you as a staff and we thank you as a community because you are critical to all of this work. And so with that, I'm going to start the merry-go-round, and I'll start with Kevin Lowndes.
Thank you, Derek. I just want to encourage families to reach out to their schools to find out what the inclusion program for our students receiving special education services will look like. We're getting many questions about that, and it really does go right along with the general education programs that are going to take place in those schools. So please reach out to your schools and you'll get a good indication of what those supports will look like in the general education classes.
Thanks, Kevin. Diane?
So I would just say to my fellow parents in the system, be patient. We're excited about student turn, but it's not going to look exactly the same way that it did on March 13th, our last day. But there are so many things that are for the kids. Again, for my elementary age student to be with other kids is like, the cherry on the top. So be patient, we'll work together, and it's an exciting time. And please reach out if you have any questions or concerns to your schools because they are working really hard, and wanted to thank the staff in our school buildings, the teachers. They have done an incredible job.
Thanks, Diane. Jeff?
We are so excited to get started on Saturday, and it's going to take the collective efforts of our entire community to allow our athletics program and our schools and everything to open up. So I'm just going to ask that our student athletes, our parents and guardians, and the stakeholders across MCPS athletics to be leaders as we show the way here in reopening schools, not just next week, the next month, but beyond and throughout. So we're very excited and we look forward to welcoming our student athletes back on campus on Saturday.
Thanks, Jeff. Helen?
Thank you, Derek. Just want to reiterate that in the Office of Human Resources and Development, we continue to hire full-time teachers, we continue to hire substitute teachers, we continue to hire monitors, and we are working very closely with our partners at DHHS and other medical partners to do our level best to make sure that we can get as many of our employees vaccinated as possible, knowing that people will and can and should seek opportunities on their own, but if they are not finding success and are not able, we are doing our level best to make sure that we can help assist in that process. Again, thank you to everyone for all of their hard work, for their commitment, and if there is anything that the Office of Human Resources and Development can do for students, staff, families, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Let me double down on Helen. If you are interested in serving our students, we want you, we need you in our school system. Please apply now, visit our website.
Yes, go to careers. And I would like to personally thank the over 200 retiree teachers who have signed up to be monitors. I'm so excited about that, and it just you can never leave MCPS, right? We are so thrilled and just grateful that our community of retirees have stepped up to help us too.
Thanks, Helen. Sarah?
Sure. I think I would echo the sentiment of my colleagues. We are all going through a very significant change. And while as a system in these opportunities and others, we tend to focus on the technical aspects of the change, this is really also an emotional experience for a lot of people. There are people concerned about their health, they're concerned about their well-being. Many of our employees are parents, or they have elder care or immunocompromised. And so I think what we would ask is of our community and of ourselves is that we recognize that we are all trying to create a stable experience. And so whether you are a pessimist about our work, whether you are hopeful or an optimist, we accept and understand that everyone is at a different place around our reopening work. And we hope that as you engage and interact with our teachers and our school-based leaders, that you will recognize that they want nothing more than to serve you in the way that you are comfortable with and that meets your needs. And so we just hope people will continue to show grace and support to our school-based teams who have worked tirelessly to get to this point.
Thanks, Sarah. Essie?
Thank you. I wanted to say we're all in this together. We are all in this together. We're going to come back together. We're going to find new routines together. And part of being together means that all of us contribute to each other's safety. We all work together to make a safe and healthy environment. If you're not feeling well, stay home. If you think you might be sick with something, if your temperature comes back high, stay home. You can you can have virtual instruction, and we will be very grateful to bring you back when everyone is well.
Thanks, Essie. Rochelle?
Thank you, Derek. I think I would like to say that there isn't any one of us in our community that hasn't been impacted by the current circumstances. But I'll take my time to just give a huge shout out to the students of Montgomery County Public Schools who have shown a great deal of resilience, strength, just courage, continue to raise their voices. I had the opportunity to be a part or peek into a Black History Month celebration at a high school. And what I saw students doing just gives me hope for where we are. So just continue to know that we're here to support you. We have many, many resources that are available. But if what I saw last night was anything like we can continue to expect, I have great hope for what our kids can do.
Thanks, Rochelle. Pete?
Thanks, Derek. So I would say to please families and students plan to bring your device fully charged every day. Fully charged is really important. If there are issues, we will continue to work with you to ensure that you learn in the best way possible, like we have in the fall, like we have last spring. But please bring your device charged every single day. Thanks.
Well said, Pete. Scott?
I would just like to acknowledge the work of our principals, their leadership teams, their staffs, their communities. I wish we had time tonight to lift up under the hood of all the things our schools are doing 24/7 around the clock, because they are truly so committed to welcoming our students back starting next week. And they will be standing out there with smiles and open arms, and just really excited for students to return. So thank you to our schools and all the incredible work they're doing to prepare.
And Janet?
There's always such a benefit of going last because everyone has said everything, but I just want to actually disassociate myself with all of the comments that have been made. There have been literally thousands of people who have been deeply committed since the start of the pandemic to serve in so many different ways. And it's an exciting time that we're in right now because I think through the eyes of the children who are eager to return and probably at the same time very hesitant about returning. But it's really about the adults who will be around them that will help them transition smoothly into schools. And I use the word transition rather than opening schools, because people must understand that it is not going to look the same. That's been said here this evening, but it can't be overstated that school will not look the same. our instructional delivery models, many of which have been in use as long as teaching has been around, direct and support of our children. Simultaneous certainly will be different and new, but this is a transition time, and we do appreciate our amazing community, and let's move it out. Let's go.
And my eternal co-host, Nikki Hazel, what do you got?
I just wanted to say, as I was reflecting, it's been almost a year since we started this journey. And when we started continuity of learning, we had never done it before. Virtual learning was new to all of us, and it was scary, but we started to really get good at it. And we see some outstanding instruction taking place in classrooms every single day. And I just want to remind our families as we transition into the school building, again, it is something that we've never done before. And really just thinking about the fact that some of our students and our staff are gonna have to get up earlier, some are gonna get on buses, and they're going to go into classrooms and have new routines. And that is going to take some time. And so we just ask that our families are patient, allow our teachers some time to figure it out. They will figure it out, and they will learn how to navigate the virtual environment and the students in front of them, and they will do it well. But we just need to give them a little bit of time to be able to do that. And so I just ask again that we are patient, and just want to thank everybody for being supportive. Thank you.
And Mr. Turner, I also would like an opportunity to thank everyone on this screen tonight and all of the other hundreds of people who have had voice and given voice to the plan through all the different stages and changes, quite frankly, that have, because conditions really weren't, they were less than stable over the last 6 months. And so it's constantly pivoting, changing, adapting. And it is an exciting place that we're in right now. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank all of you. And my piece of advice, we've been talking generally about the student experience. Your specific student experience will come from your school. Please contact your school, your principal, to get that information. We don't have that about your student in this group, but your school does, and they've been thinking specifically about your child in the future. So please contact them. Thank you all for watching, and have a great night.